I'm probably not going to play for too long today. My hands are feeling quite a bit better, but I shouldn't be doing, 24-hour grind sessions till I get completely better. So, I was going to play a little bit of this, but I wanted to talk about a really subject that's been kind of, I don't know if it's been a hot topic, but it's definitely been something I've been thinking about a lot. And that is game preservation. Now, we have, a lot of games that get, preserved. Some of them even get preserved like every generation, but there's lots of stuff that doesn't. And I think it's been a pretty big problem lately. As much flack as we give Nintendo for, releasing Mario Brothers for $5 like every generation since the Wii, it is cool because they basically are, making sure that people can play the game, each generation, whereas there's lots of stuff that gets locked on whatever generation it's currently was made for. For instance, I tried to get I looked online to see how much it would cost me to play Guardian Heroes and Akai Katana. Akai Katana is like $10 on the Xbox Marketplace, but I'd have to get like a $50 Cronus adapter to use my stick. So $50 to play that on a console that I'm not even sure will work for much longer, and something that might get ported. So in that case, I would definitely want the game to be preserved, simply because it would make it so that I would not have to do that. And I think that's what's cool about Steam ports. I think it's great that at least Japan is getting better with the day-and-date PC ports. Obviously, a lot of them are questionable quality. I know a lot of people are going to want me to play Musou Stars, and I am interested in playing that. I hear it's a pretty fun game from what I've heard from Swillow and stuff. But, the port quality is all over the place. But at the same time, it's pretty cool that the game is not going to die when the PS4 goes out in a couple years. It's kind of a problem right now. I traded in a bunch of stuff for my for Marvel Infinite because I didn't really want to pay for that game. I wasn't really sure how it was going to turn out. And what I paid for it with, what I used for the trades, is basically I just used a lot of stuff I had on PS3 and 360 that's been rendered obsolete, and a lot of that stuff still had trade-in value for some reason. So I got rid of all that stuff because I figured, no one's really going to care that it's on PS3, unless they're like a crazy hardcore, physical game collector. So I went ahead and did it, and I think that's what's great about Steam ports, that we don't hear about that often. A lot of people just want it on PC because it's cheaper, and I'm definitely I'm not against that either. Sometimes a lot of stuff I will get on PC simply because I didn't have to have a capture card to record it, and that definitely is part of it. But it's more about just making sure that you can play it past whatever generation it was meant for. Even now, arcades haven't been out of style for that long. There still are arcades, but arcades now are pretty much they're just computers and boxes, basically. They're not really proprietary hardware anymore, and they haven't been for a long time. It dates back pretty much to when the Naomi came out. The Naomi was basically just a Dreamcast it was in a big cabinet, basically. That's why the Dreamcast is known for having the arcade perfect ports. Like, if you were into arcade games at the time, having a Dreamcast was a no-brainer, simply because they were the exact same games. Like, there's pretty much no difference in terms of the performance. In most cases, you even got extra stuff. Like, if you had like Mars Matrix or some of the other Capcom games like Power Stone 2, they had like extra items and stuff. So being able to play things on PC is great because it basically means that they will stand the test of time and past generations. And it's something that doesn't get a lot of thought. Like, the reason I'm playing this while I'm talking about it, because this is not the kind of game that people are going to beg for, 5 years from now when the PS4 has been replaced or they've got a new refresh out for it or something. These are the kinds of games that get lost in time, so to speak. Stuff like Mario and Devil May Cry and Mega Man, those are going to be re-released for the rest of our lives pretty much. But you have stuff like Earth's Dawn and, you know, Sengoku Basara and stuff like Guardian Heroes. You know, those are the games that people are concerned about. I see a lot of people port big for Guardian Heroes, and I think it's cool that people care because I'm definitely kind of concerned. Like, I could go buy a $50. I could buy the $50 Cronus adapter and play that game, you know, within a couple days if I wanted to. But the problem is that I don't know how long the 360 is gonna last. Like, my 360 could go out at any time. I haven't even turned it on in like years, so I don't even know if it still works. It's not really sustainable to play stuff on there. Bayonetta's a good example too. You know, the Wii U, you know, Bayonetta's kind of a unique case because Bayonetta did get a port on the Wii U, but it came out towards the end of its life cycle and is also like notoriously hard to find. So even though the game was technically preserved, it was preserved on a dead console for one. And then, you know, the other thing is that you couldn't really get copies of it easily. So the fact that it's on PC means that, you know, people are going to be able to enjoy the first Bayonetta game for a long period of time. Same thing with Vanquish as well. I'm glad that those ports have done well. I hope it will, you know, help people with people who have the power to actually make a difference with game preservation to actually port their games. It's kind of depressing. A lot of people have been talking about on MAME. There's a lot of games that haven't been dumped for MAME yet. Obviously, since arcades, you know, are not really popular anymore, a lot of those games we may never play again. That's what's cool about emulation as well. I don't see people demonizing emulation as much as they used to. Like, that used to be a problem. People would demonize people who emulate stuff, and it's like, well, what people don't realize is when you buy like a used game that's like classic or something that's not from the actual developer, all you're doing is lining someone's pockets. Like, at this point, you emulate like a PS2 game or something that's not available in any other way, you know, format. Basically just preserving the game. Like, I looked into getting a bunch of PS2 games for emulation because I'd like to play them again. It doesn't really make sense to pay $100 to line someone else's pockets if I can get it some other way. And eventually that's going to be the only option at some point. How is that an E rank? Oh, whatever. We're still learning the ropes on this game. So if you see, you know, ports on Steam and you think that your first glance is that, you know, it's not worth buying because you can play it on something else, you definitely should support it, because otherwise we're going to lose so many games to time, and it's already happening at this point. Like, we already have you know, a lot of games from last gen, like just like barely 10 years ago, that are really hard to find. And one of the other issues is that, you know, emulation for anything past PS2 is still kind of a joke at this point. I think they're just barely getting to the point now where they have, you know, semi-decent emulation. But it's going to be a while before, you know, normal computers, like non-enthusiast computers, will be able to handle them. PS2 emulation has kind of just barely got to the point where people are able to, you know, run it on regular computers. So I think I get a skill if I S rank that. Yeah, I do. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that again, and that'll be the end of the video. I hear this game really piles on the status effects later, so I want to grab this stuff before it gets to the point where I have to come back and give this another try. Like, I recently got a main ROM set. I got a bunch of PS2 games off Emmy Paradise. I was thinking about how it's pretty cool. I could actually, you know, preserve stuff that I couldn't really get before. There's also translation patches. Some games can run better too. I know there's been a translation patch in the works for Tales of Destiny Remake for like 5 years or something crazy like that. That'll be pretty cool when it comes out. There's also some kind of patch for God Hand, which lets you run it at 60 FPS, but I hear it makes the mashing QTEs like borderline impossible unless you're like a professional button masher. So I don't know how useful that is. They might have to work on it. Like, that's definitely a cool part of game preservation as well. Sometimes you can make the games run better than intended. I know there was a Kingdom Hearts like 60 FPS patch, I think, for a while. But I think work stopped on that once it got announced that they were putting it on PS4 with the 60 FPS native. I don't know if I could fight this thing. If I die, I apologize. Oh yeah, I do like no damage to it. Rip. Can I restart this? I guess if you get hit on that Scorpion at all, it just tanks your rank. Like I said, there's like no information for this game anywhere, so I just have to like learn all this stuff as I go. Oh, but it gave me an S rank anyway. Well, there you go. I don't really know what the point of this was. I've just been thinking about game preservation a lot because I tried to see exactly how much money it would cost and how many resources I would need to play Akai Katana and Guardian Heroes, but it'd be like about 60 bucks for the game and the adapter, and I just felt like, you know, I could do that, but I could wait for a port. And I think that people demonize port begging. You know, a lot of it is just people are greedy and they don't want to buy the original console. But you have to realize a lot of those consoles are time bombs at this point, especially the 360. Like the 360s, the ones that you can actually get for cheap, are like really unreliable. So they're not the kind of thing that you'd want to invest a lot of money into at this point. No, I think it's pretty great that there's only 2 things left on the 360 that I still want to play that I can't play elsewhere. One of which is Guardian Heroes, the other is Akai Katana. And I know that you know, Cave has been, you know, porting a lot of their stuff to PC, so Akai Katana will probably find its way there on a while on Steam, but I'm not too sure about Guardian Heroes, and I think a lot of people have been asking for that, but I haven't really seen too much, you know, action being taken. So I'm gonna show a little bit of the crafting system before I sign off here, since I'm still kind of learning it. Let's see what I've got here. This says 4 attack. Let's go for the most expensive one. Oh, there we go. So when you fill up the ingredients, you have a chance to add one that adds a property, and I don't think you can change that property after you craft the weapon. I think it's locked at that point. I hear ice is supposed to be pretty good. Not too sure about this other stuff, but I'm gonna go ahead and stop there. I just thought I'd open some eyes about game preservation. It's been something I've thought about for a while. In terms of whether I actually do that stuff for Guardian Heroes, I'll have to see if my 360 even still works. I haven't even hooked it up yet. B, I have to make sure that the capture card works, and then C, I'll have to wait until I have some more cash. So that might actually be next month's project. I don't think I'm doing too much next month. The only thing I really had in the cards was Aztez, which comes out on August 1st. I already submitted a key mailer request for that, so if they don't accept that, that's probably what I'll do in August. Aside from that, I don't really have anything planned. Muso Stars comes out at the tail end of the month, but I really don't want to be the guinea pig on that because I know that their games, I don't know, the port quality is over the place. I hear people can't like run Sonata Maru at like anything resembling a good frame rate, even on like beast computers. So I definitely don't think my computer is going to be up for it. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys posted. Thanks for watching. I'll probably have more gameplay of this tomorrow. Peace.